Hello guys, Garcia here, and these are some quick thoughts on Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, an indie horror movie that was released last month. Everybody knew that this movie had a lot of hype behind it just because of the premise, turning these old and beloved cartoon characters into horror movie villains. So a lot of people that don't usually watch low budget slashers watched it just to sate their curiosity, and judging by the reviews, most of them probably regretted doing so. I actually thought it was brainless fun, but I'm used to this type of quality, so I can understand why most people hated it. Let's see if I can explain why my horror brain was mostly satisfied when the credits rolled. This video will contain spoilers. Before I tell you guys what I liked, I compiled a list with some of the most obvious and lazy horror tropes this movie used, and there are so many of them that it's easy to understand why most people felt that this movie is an incoherent mess. 1. Group of annoying girls. 2. Let's disconnect, give me your cell phones. 3. Atrocious shaky cam. 4. Meat grinder kill. 5. Random female nipple shot. 6. Girl randomly behaving sexily when she is completely by herself. 7. Girl randomly behaving sexily when she knows there's a stranger behind her. 8. People screaming hello when they should be quiet. 9. People that close their eyes after noticing the presence of a stranger. 10. Terrible CGI and costumes. 11. Stupid phrases like whoever it is probably wrote that, or the most pointless and lifeless I love you I have ever seen in a movie. 12. People acting like robots instead of running or hiding. 13. Someone that decides to stay in the pool despite having 10 minutes to run away from the killer. 14. A villain that suddenly turns constantly. 15. People returning to the monster's den instead of leaving. 16. Ritualistic imagery and motifs. And 17. The Halloween knife kill. And many others. I just chose a few to show that I know that this movie is really bad, and I agree with that fact, but I was entertained despite all of these problems and shortcomings. So what did I like about this movie? First of all, I love cool concepts, and the main premise is very interesting. The drawn sequences are very dark and somber, and they show us not only what those beings became later, but also a new and twisted version of their origin story, in which they were never the cute, plush-like animals of the old stories, but rather predators that would eventually discard their human-like traits to obey their murderous instincts. I thought that was a cool twist. The camera work is actually pretty good when the screen is not shaking or everything is shrouded in darkness, that is. There are some cool shots here, especially the ones that take advantage of the evil sets they created. They used smoke well, and there's a cool sequence in which they used a flickering light that actually added tension to the scene. Small details like Eeyore's tombstone or the smile that Pooh has in his face during the kills really enhanced the corruption factor of the story. The scene in which Pooh tortures Christopher with Eeyore's tail is hilarious, flavorful, tragic, and brutal, all at the same time, and that's not easy to pull off in slashers. I also liked Pooh's portrayal, even though the costume was obviously terrible. He is a conflicted, sad, and 100% cynical killing machine. Christopher tries to make him remember who he once was, but that goes horribly wrong. In the first attempt, Pooh destroys a bunch of furniture, and in the final scene of the movie, he says to Robin, "You left?" before cutting the throat of the not-so-final girl. He's emotionally beyond reach, and he and Piglet kill not only to eat, but also to punish. They actually have more fleshed-out motivations to behave like they do than most killers in this type of movie have, and that's a plus in my book. So at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. It's absolutely a bad movie, but one that has a very unique premise and some creativity and heart behind it. And if there's a sequel, I will happily revisit the 100-Acre Wood for more brutal goofiness. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.